Hello, my name is Maurice. I'm one of the consultants at Sciential. In this 10-minute video, I'm going to explain you how to set up your first LinkedIn ad campaign. First, I actually created a Sciential ad account, which you can do here by choosing the first option, Accounts. This is not within the scope of this video, so you can actually see one of the other videos where we also explain how to set up your account yourself. So, to create a new account, we actually first created a new campaign group. Let's do that first. So here we go to campaign group, campaigns 2022, active from today. So then we can save. Then we have our first campaign group. Then we can click on campaign groups, and here you can actually create your ads. So when we start creating the first ad, so the first campaign, click on campaign. Then we have the following screen to actually place it in different groups. But as we only have one relevant group, we will choose that one. So we go next. Then we have the first slide. And on the top left, you can choose your campaign. So campaign. Campaign one, and then we can actually set the objectives. Basically, LinkedIn provides three kind of objectives. The first one is awareness. Then you have the option to choose for brand awareness, and if you click on the items, you can also well, explains itself. So basically, you're going to use brand awareness to message. To actually convert the message that you want to the broadest audience as possible. Then you can actually also go for consideration. So basically, the LinkedIn algorithm can actually optimize towards, for example, one of the objectives that you have. So for example, website visitors. So basically, the LinkedIn algorithm then optimizes the ad towards website visits. You can also go for engagement. That can be, for example, likes, comments, but also LinkedIn page followers, and of course video views. And that's actually why we actually use videos, is actually because they're actually a perfect tool to create audiences. So we can actually later on, when you have completed an ad actually, and it run for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, you can actually create a lookalike and also a retargeting audience of this video ads. So basically, everyone that viewed the video and is interested in the content, you can retarget again without targeting the people that are not interested. So that's why we use video ads. Then you can also go for conversions. You can also do that in three different formats. So the first one is lead generation. That basically gives you the opportunity to create a lead form within LinkedIn. So people that are interacting with the ad can actually fill in their credentials, like their email address or their phone number, so you can actually connect that with them. Furthermore, you can also optimize towards website conversions. So when you have installed, for example, website tracking pixels on your website, you can actually see, for example, you can actually set a conversion for time spent on a website. So for example, 20 seconds, because then they're really interested. Or if they click on a certain link, or they fill in the lead form. So those are all options for conversions. And then the last is actually the job applicants. So basically, if you're a recruiter, you can also optimize for job applicants. For this particular case, we will go for website visits. So then we actually, when we selected the objective, we can go to the next slide. Basically, then we're going to select the audience. As you can see here, LinkedIn also provides its audience itself, so they have some examples that you can actually use. Well, most often we actually make custom-made audiences, which you can also save, which is quite handy. So yeah, that's also something that you could use for the future. So as this is probably your first ad, we will start with creating a new audience from scratch. So Netherlands is already selected, so we can actually add, for example, Belgium, Germany, Switzerland. That will be enough for now. So then we actually set the location. So basically, when we've done this, we can actually scroll down. Then you have your target audience profile language. We mostly advise to use English because that will be the default language for most regions. Then we can actually further narrow down the target audience by clicking here on narrow. Then it actually provides you the following two options. So you can actually really create your audiences based on lists. So for example, if you have company lists, they can actually upload them and they will be then targeted. You can also, as I mentioned, after having after building an audience from video views, you can also use retargeting here or lookalike audiences here. But they are actually outside of the scope of this this video, so I will not be going into any further detail about those. You can also use third party and others, but they're also more advanced. That's actually more when you're already, I don't know, setting up. You've set up multiple campaigns. So let's go for the attributes. So basically, LinkedIn provides the option to really specifically target, for example, based on company, demographics, education. So let's start with company. So basically, you can actually choose from different options. One of the things that we often use is size. So for example, you only want to target small biotech companies or medtech companies. You can actually do it here. But first start high over with industries. So basically, as we are in the life science and health sector, it would make sense to include, for example, pharmaceuticals, biotech, and of course also medtech. There we go. So now we actually set up the company industries. So we have the high over industries. Now we can actually scope or narrow down the audience even further. Because, for example, now we know a little bit about the company. We can also choose, for example, for job experience. So most of the time we also use job titles. So for example, when I was setting up this ad, I choose, for example, for digital marketers, so digital specialist or digital marketing manager, digital marketing specialist, online marketeer. We also do some other terms like more general marketing, sales and marketing manager. So you can actually have different also seniority levels, because later on when we're doing the analysis, you can also see, for example, which of the job titles or which of the industries are actually more interacting more with the ad. So let's say for now this is okay. As you can see here, it actually is now mentioned as or. So basically what it does now is they need to, the ad is actually targeting people in these industries with all kinds of job titles, or specifically this. So I would actually change this to ends, because that would make more sense. So the people actually that we're going to target are in pharma, biotech, medical devices, but they also have the job title, one of these job titles. Then if we go to the right, we actually see that we're approximately targeting 18,000 people, mostly actually in marketing and sales. So that means we're good. Well, to this we come to that a little bit later. So, well, this is just a really simple setup of the campaign, but for the first campaign that will be okay. So besides narrowing who you want to target, you can also exclude people. So for example, if you have a list of people or companies that you would like to exclude, for example, competitors, I would definitely recommend to also use the exclusion option to exclude companies. Then here you have the enable expansion, audience expansion option. We mostly disable it because it actually broadens the audience while you're actually trying to really specifically focus on these audiences as well. So I would not use it. Then, of course, save it. So we can save it. For example, we can use this one. It's called Digital Marketing EU. Yes, there we go. So then we actually set the audience. So next to the audience is actually the ad itself. So how will it look like? Actually, LinkedIn provides multiple options. for your ad. So most simple version is of course the single ad. So that's basically one image. It's a static image. Then you can also choose for a carousel. So basically that provides the option people or the target audience can click through more information. So I would definitely recommend if you would actually like to communicate more information or difficult information, then I would advise to use a carousel. You could also use video ads, as I mentioned. This is mostly used for building up audiences which can be retargeted later. You can also use text ads. They are pretty cheap and they actually they appear in your timeline as text. Then spotlight ads. That's really a targeted ad, really personalized. It's more expensive, works well. I would definitely recommend it if you're, for example, really promoting your page or something. Message ads and conversion ads. Actually, LinkedIn disabled these options for Europe this month. So earlier this month, actually, they disabled these options. However, they are still valid or can still be used in the UK, for example, or Switzerland, of course, also in the US. So if you're targeting the US, you can still use them. In Europe, it's not possible at the moment, but maybe later. And of course, also event ads. So for example, if you are hosting a webinar, you could use this ad to promote the webinar. As we are targeting, we don't have a really technical technical information that we would like to share. We will actually go for the single image ad for now. So that will be okay. Then you have the placement. So basically LinkedIn also provides the option to share the same ads without, not within LinkedIn itself, but actually with other networks. We actually never use it. So I would also recommend you to not use it. So then you can actually scroll down to the budget and the schedule. So you can actually choose different settings of the budget. So for example, you can set the daily and lifetime budget, or just the daily or a complete lifetime budget. For now, we will go for daily budget. So then you can actually make sure that the ad is not spending more than an X amount per day. The minimum is 10 euros per day. So let's take that for now, because we're actually setting up the first ad. Then you can actually start with a low budget. And if you actually learn from your first campaigns, then you can actually increase the budget if you want. So then we need to schedule it. LinkedIn actually automatically sets it on continuously module, but yeah, we actually, of course, going to use a set start and end date. As we are normally using it for growth hacking, I would definitely recommend 2 or 4 weeks. So as it is now the 18th, actually go for the 1st February. So then in total, we will spend 150 euros in 2 weeks. Oh, that's a lot. Then from here, we can actually go further. Then you have multiple bidding options. So normally it is automated. So I would definitely use an automated bidding option, because yeah, it actually optimizes towards the best results. So in this case, I would definitely go for it. As I mentioned, you also have the option to use conversion tracking. When you have everything set on your website as well, you can actually use this to create a conversion. So if people fill in a link, a lead form or something, you use this option. But I guess for your first campaign, this will be I don't know, too advanced. So let's leave it for now. Then we can click to the next campaign. You need to save it. So, and then we're actually ready to create our first ad. Here, and then we can actually set a first name. So for example, we could use test 1, introductory test. So of course we prepared an introductory test. I will use the same one as I used for creating the ad. Then destination URL. So that's actually the website that you're would like to send traffic to. It's our page. And then you can actually set up the image. So let's grab an image. Sciential Insights 2, because that's actually the campaign that you used to get this video. Headline. You could actually use learn how to set up a LinkedIn campaign. And for the sake of time, I will actually copy here the destination description. There we go. And of course, you can also include a call to action button. For example, you'd actually, in this case, I would say learn more. If you actually want to learn how to set up this campaign. So here you actually see the preview that you were looking for. You can also use one for a mobile one. It doesn't load now, but normally it actually shows. So as you can see, this is how it will look like. If you're okay with that, you can actually create the ad. Also make sure that you actually use this option, because then it is automatically added to the campaign that you are building. So create. Then we have actually the ad set. Here is actually mentioning the billing information that is still needed. That's due to the fact that I just created a new ad account to show you around. So that's something that you need to do in the account information. So we can actually click next. So, and then you have basically the review and overview. So let's take a careful look. What we're going to do is actually, so our campaign group, that's 2022. This is the campaign group, so don't get surprised. This is not the ad itself, so that will still run continuously. But later on, we will see that there is also an end date. So then about the audience, these are the locations that we would like to target. Of course, also who we are like to target and which kind of industries. We actually use a single ad format. We disabled LinkedIn Audience Network, then 10 euros daily budget, and here the scheduled start and end date, an automated bid, no conversions yet, and the ad campaign itself. So if you then see here on the right, you actually see also a forecast of what you're going to spend, total impressions, so how many times it will be viewed, and of course the CTR, so the click-through rate, is approximately 1.1, 1.8. That's on the high side. So basically it mentions how many percent of the total impressions people are going to click on it. So in total you can expect something between 62 and 250 clicks. So that gives an estimation, but actually it's of course not a guarantee. So then we can actually launch the campaign. As you can see here, if you actually launch it, it will be launched, and then you can actually go back to the account overview. You see here that it's running. Well, not now, because we didn't fill in the billing information yet, but if you've done that, it will be running now. So thank you for your attention. I hope it was useful information. If you have any questions or if you run into some issues, please contact me. You can always find me on LinkedIn or send me an email. So thank you very much, and see you in the next Insights.